Well, good morning, friends. I'm so glad that you've joined us today, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, evening, for day 16 of 30 Days of Gratitude. Lots to think about as we continue this journey. One of the things I wanted to kind of focus on is what is the purpose of having a spiritual practice of gratitude? It's kind of interesting if you think about the people that you know that seem to really exhibit this attitude. They often have a lot of something called resilience. In other words, an ability to sort of bounce back from adversity, from challenges, from the different twists and turns that life throws at people. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, "Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood." I think that's kind of a beautiful way to think about how we go throughout our life, and there are lessons that we have the chance to learn every day. And that part of living life is being in the midst of those lessons, in the midst of the challenges that we face, in the midst of the things that we do. Wisdom is often linked with experience, and wisdom is that we're willing to gain insights into things. It's sort of like, I know if I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self or my 30-year-old self something to not worry about, or to lessen, or to think less about, or just to do differently, there's all kinds of things I could say. But when I was 20, or when I was 30, or when I was 10, or whatever it was, I had to go through certain things and learn and figure out all the different things that life was thrown at me. And so part of the spiritual practice of gratitude is helping us to be grateful even for the difficult things, or to be grateful even for the challenges that we face, but also to see the beauty of the things that are around us. One of the other interesting things about this is that resilience, or even having this sense of being able to have the spiritual practice of gratitude as a core part of who we are, is really living out something that Viktor Frankl talked about. Viktor Frankl is a psychologist that survived the Holocaust. And one of the key things to his philosophy is this: the last of human freedoms is one's ability to choose one's attitude in a given set of circumstances. In other words, what it means to be truly human is the fact that we can make a choice in the midst of anything about what our attitude is going to be and how we're going to live into that. I think that's powerful. And maybe sometimes we don't quite understand that, or we're not willing to see it, or we're not able to do it. But really, we have more control than we think. It's one of the gifts that God gives us, to reason and to be in the midst of this, to have freedom of choice, to have freedom of the ability to choose our attitude. But that at any given moment, we really do have a choice, even in the most difficult, awful of situations. And part of why I think it's authentic when we read this from Viktor Frankl is he knew the worst possible situation you could be in and found this to be true. And hopefully none of us will ever be in the situation he was in. So back to gratitude. Doing this hard work, finding out and thinking about things that we write down as being grateful for the day, or looking for 3 things that went well, or writing a letter to someone to show thanks to them. All of these different things are ways that we choose our attitude at any given moment, that we take the lessons that life has given us, as Mr. Emerson says, and we embrace them with our full being, and we live it out to the fullest. Think of Jesus talking to all of those different people that Jesus encounters that feel they can't move, that are stuck, that are cast out. And he says to them, your faith, right? Your choice, your willingness to believe, your attitude has made you well. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless, and may you be filled with gratitude today.
The joy of the Lord is our strength. We bow down and worship him now. How great, how awesome is he, and together we sing. sing.